Oh, there we go. Welcome back to Crunch Time, guys. The show you get the best NBA DFS picks each and every day. Today we have a nice 9-game slate, I believe. Joined as always with Chris here. We have a nice new feature that I want to kind of bring up at the start of the show. Go over that in a bit. But yeah, how are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing well, as always. Last slate in a while, so I'm excited to get to it. We got a big one here.
Oh yeah, that's true. We have until I think next Wednesday, the 10th, a break. Did the game start on the 10th or 11th again?
I'm not sure. I think the 10th maybe. I don't know though.
Yeah, well, we'll have some NHL, some college basketball, UFC to keep us busy. Probably some NASCAR, probably some other ones too. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. I think we'll do the giveaways again. I think I figured out a way to do it yesterday because I do like doing the giveaways. I just don't like managing them. But like the old way I had to do it, but I think I figured out a new way. So I think we can do the giveaways back to normal. So we can do 30 likes, a weekly pass, 35, another one.
Let's do 35.
35?
Let's do 35 today because we've been hitting 30 recently. So let's get 35 for the first one, and then we can do the same as always in increments of 5 afterwards.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, so we'll do 35 then. Then every 5 after that is another one. So let's get back to it. The only thing is, if you're already a member and you used PayPal, I still have to figure out PayPal, how to do it the best way there. But if you used credit card, then I can do it easily. If you're a new member, it's super easy. But yeah. So yeah, as always, guys, dfscrunch.com, that's the optimizer projections we'll be using throughout the show today, as we do every single day. So that's what we'll be doing the giveaway for, weekly pass at the end of the show. And then if you're new here, you want to try it out throughout the show as we're going through it. There's no better time to do it then because you can ask us questions as you're getting used to it. There is a free 3-day trial for all new members, so take advantage of that. I've been saying this for the last couple weeks. If you have no intention on staying, still try it out. It's absolutely free. Third day, you can cancel. If that's your plan, do it. Like, just try it out for 3 days. You'll love it. So I just want more people to try it out. So that's why I keep saying that. So definitely try it out for 3 days for free. Take advantage of that. And then some success stuff. I think we have a few to go over. I have to scroll up a bit. 8 p.m. I think right here, Do Red King. Got him into the Discord. He always sends us some DMs on Twitter with his success. Had to get him in here because he always crushes it. So he is on the left here. Got a nice screenshot from him today. I think this is, Showdown Captain mode. Oladipo and Wall, they went off yesterday, hey?
Yeah, they only had like 8 guys, so they played a ton of minutes, which was pretty nice. I had Oladipo on my FanDuel team.
Yeah. That was definitely, I think we talked about that a bit, kind of a bring back in that game if it did stay close. I guess it didn't stay too close up until, what was it, the 4th? I think it was like a 10-point into the 4th, was it?
It was like 20 the whole game, but I mean, it doesn't matter when you have 8 guys. That was my entire point yesterday.
Yeah, that was on the Houston side. Huh?
Yeah, but same thing with Harden. Like, It was a 20-point game the entire time. He came out, I don't know, like 4 minutes left, still crushed. That's why I never really worry about blowouts.
Yeah, exactly. Because we had that concern. A few people brought that up, and we kind of made a point of going over that. Harden playing yesterday, if he would be a good player or not, just because of the blowout potential. As you said, it was like a 20-point game the whole way through. I still got his minutes, so we went over that because it is a legitimate concern. If there is a blowout, maybe your guy doesn't play, because that does happen with a lot of teams do that. If it is a blowout, they won't play their guys, but wasn't the case yesterday with Harden, first blood game there with Houston. So wait, it wasn't the first game, was it?
What do you mean first game?
Like, it's not the first time he played Houston again.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
that's why I was all over him.
Okay. My bad there. I think I mixed it up with Wall playing Washington, so that's my mix up there. Then we got Pricky in here, Pricky81. This is pretty good, 25 into 112 there, so first place in this 5-man. Awesome stuff there. Express slate, we do have all the slates here in our optimizer, so cool to see people playing all the different slates here. Actually, this was the single game NHL as well, so Toronto, Edmonton, so that's awesome stuff there. Lots of different slates for all the sports we have. Do-Reg King again here says only $20. He did tell me on Twitter and here he did forget his lineup, but what did he get back? I think $20, 830. That's insane. His screenshots are pretty crazy. Then we got Jaden in here, 52nd in this free to play here, $1. That's awesome. Got the Mountain Dew NBA clutch shot for him as well. Good results there. Got Nick doubled up here. Pricky again, college basketball, 31-22. Awesome stuff there. Aiden here, college basketball as well. Looks to be like the optimal, right, Chris? Same score, I'm guessing. Probably was the optimal here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, solid results there. Yeah, projections here, super, super sharp. Especially college basketball. Like these were the projections we worked on prior to NBA starting, because we had some time to kill. I think college basketball was the only big sport for a bit. Last few weeks leading up to NBA tip-off season opener. But yeah, they've been so sharp. It's kind of crazy how sharp they've been. They've got to be some of the best, probably the best in the industry. But yeah, that's awesome stuff. Dakota here, NBA main slate as well. I guess we'll get into the main slate more once we see yours, Chris. I got rookie in here. Awesome stuff again, 142nd. I think the other day she tied first place. He said like 1,000 ways or something, but still super awesome there. Then we got Aiden, NBA main slate again over here. Awesome stuff. Little biscuit here. He says class was successful yesterday. What's the name of our university, Chris?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, well, we're not accredited. Maybe we can give out like some diplomas or something. I don't know. But yeah, we can go over yours, Chris. I do have your contest links. Let me just copy them over here. But should I just open your contest right away? Go over it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did recover my FanDuel account. So that's good news. Chris didn't seem too impressed the other day when I think he expected it to be ready, and I was like, oh, still not ready. I think his face kind of disappointed look there. But yeah, so this is your result here, 2K to 3K. So let's get into that one. I think we're doing this just so we can see what the other, like the pro players land on. Should I find someone else in the contest, Chris, or do you just want to go over it here first?
No, I just want to go over what worked, what didn't work. It's easier to see here with the percentages. I think your camera's blocking it, so you have to scroll up a little bit. Yeah, so basically we had a lot of chalk here. I wasn't going to fade Harden. I was surprised to see he was only 66%. This is obviously a 50-50 cash game. Like he was a lock for me. Yeah, I was very surprised to see he wasn't like 80-90% in that spot. But I mean, I took it there. It worked out. And then I'll go back to the point guards here. I think these two were very obvious. If you didn't have these 2 point guards, I don't think you probably weren't playing the optimal team, because I think those two were just the obvious point guards. They were too cheap. They kind of made the rest of your construction work. Landed on Oladipo here at the second shooting guard position. He was 40%. Obviously got a little lucky. He got 60 fantasy points. But I mean, it was a really good spot here against the Nets. He played a ton of minutes. So that was good for me. Not everyone landed there. Not all the top players landed there, but it was definitely a spot that I that's where I gained my edge here with this lineup. At Ingram, 55%. He ended up busting. I think he played 24 minutes. He got benched in the fourth quarter. I have no idea why. So that was pretty frustrating. He had a really good matchup against Chicago here. Richardson, Kristaps, we talked about them a ton. They were in play on FanDuel a lot. Kristaps was pretty disappointing here, only 33 fantasy points. He was 86% here on FanDuel, so it didn't kill us. Definitely hurt more on DraftKings. And then, yeah, Markieff and Cantor, my 2 lowest owned players here. Cantor got into early foul trouble, and he didn't play in the fourth quarter, so was happy to get 28 out of him. That ended up working out. And then Markieff Morris, I think he was just a solid value play, last piece sort of thing, and that worked out fine as well. So yeah, I got 26th here out of 100. We can scroll up and try to find some other players if anyone's here.
Yeah, before we do that, that Dame shot at the end was pretty killer, pretty clutch. Dame time, he's crazy guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know all these pros like you do, Chris. I haven't done all my homework. I haven't been studying like you have. So I don't have my DFS diploma from DFS Crunch. Only you do. You gotta let me know who to highlight. I don't even know if you guys.
Yeah, we can highlight McLevin there. I think he was
Maybe some.
26th place or 24th. Yeah, so this is one of my favorite players. Similar construction here. He had Cantor as well, so I thought Cantor was a really good play at center at his salary tag. Just a 2v2 here. So he had Terrence Ross and PJ Washington. I had Oladipo and Markieff Morris. Obviously, he probably thought that Terrence Ross was in a really good spot there with Fournier out, so that worked out for him. PJ Washington, I don't love that play. That's probably a little too thin for me. He only got him at 3% owned. So, I mean, I definitely think that the Oladipo Markieff side here was better in hindsight. But, I mean, he ended up winning. I think he won by like zero point 0.9 points here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do think the side that we had here was better.
Yeah, and you're telling me this side was this our pure optimal here the other day?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah, it
Yeah. So
makes
yesterday wasn't like a super obvious build. So yeah, we can look at some other players. Hopefully,
Yankee. Look at
see what
this.
they do.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Repping
that's
the
Mike.
Crunch logo.
Yeah, shout out to Mike.
Pardon?
I said shout out to Mike.
Yeah. Who do you want to go over? Keep going down the list here.
Yeah, we got third and Schlong there. Obviously Empire Maker's boy. So I think there was like yeah, this was also a 2v2. So there was a lot of decisions at the shooting guard position. So he had Svi here and Vucevic at center compared to my Oladipo and Cantor. Same sort of thing. Like I think my side was better even after the results. I just think the process is better with Oladipo and Cantor. I think they were in better spots. I think Svi is a little too volatile on FanDuel here. Obviously, he was a much better play on DK, where he was, I think, minimum price. But at FanDuel, it's kind of risky to place someone like that, I think, at 3-7. But obviously, he got there, 25 points. And I mean, I got pretty lucky with Oladipo getting 60. So I guess if Oladipo goes for his usual, like 40, I end up losing this. But I do think the Oladipo counter side here was better.
Yep. Anyone else you want to go over, or should we jump into
Yeah,
draft?
let's just keep scrolling through this contest and seeing if we find anyone else.
I know this guy.
Yeah, he's more of a tournament player, but it looks like a 2v2 as well there. So a lot of 2v2s. This one was THT and Vucevic. I had Oladipo and Cantor, so similar to the other one where the other guy had Svi and Vucevic. This guy just had THT and Vucevic.
Yep. Don't know anyone here.
Yeah, just go next. I'll tell you if I want to see someone. Yeah, so we can look at Blender here. He always plays the Roto Grinders optimal. There's usually like a train of 10 to 20 people who play this team. Yeah, so it was a little different. Like Sterling Brown, I definitely think that wasn't a good play in cash games. Gordon Hayward at 14% ended up getting 5 steals, so he got 55 fantasy points. So that got there for them. Sadiq Bey, 40% there. Didn't mind the Sadiq Bey play there. I thought that was a good play, but he only ended up with 15 points. And then they had Sabonis coming off the injury, 28% there, 38 fantasy points. Definitely didn't love that. So, I mean, I wasn't really a fan of this construction when I saw it yesterday. So yeah, I was happy that they played this team because I mean, there's always like a train of 10 to 20 people playing the Roto Grinders optimal. And yeah, I was happy that I would have like 10 to 20 people under me just to make it easier to cash yesterday.
Yeah, definitely sharper here. The DFS Crunch optimal. We need to get a picture of you, Chris, like this. Maybe one day, put the Crunch logo here beside you. Get a face like that. Yeah, we should do that. But yeah, let's see if there's a pretty big train. You're right about that. Only one page left. Guess no one here.
Yeah, no one else.
Yeah, and we did have the question the other day. Someone asked if the cash line is higher on the higher stakes 50-50s, and I think what we said is that the higher stake players, they can't play anything under $3. So stick to those if you can play those. Just enter more of those contests. I'd say it's better to do like 5 $1 entries or $2, $1 versus $5 if you can. But yeah, DraftKings, let me load that up. Trigger over here says Blender is a fraud. Is he a fraud, Chris?
I don't know. I don't mind him. Like he makes people think for themselves, which I think is a good thing. He doesn't just tout plays and say play this guy for no reason. He makes people think. So I do like that about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is DK. Obviously, didn't end up cashing. I think I missed it by like 10 points. So I'll just go over my team here. I had Harden here as well. I thought he was an obvious play. He was higher owned here on DK. Ended up crushing. I had Svi as well. Minimum price or 200 over the minimum here on DK. So I thought it was a better play than on FanDuel. He ended up getting there for us as well. Obviously, he's a big time 3-point shooter, so that helps with the DraftKings scoring. Hardaway and Porzingis, I'll skip them for now just because there's a 2v2 there. Vucevic had him. There was a 1v1 there with Embiid. Our projections were on Embiid earlier in the day, and then ended up switching to Vooch once Fournier got ruled out. If you look at McLovin's team, he actually had the 1v1 with just Embiid. So, I mean, I wish we didn't get that Fournier news. Embiid obviously crushed, had like 80 fantasy points. So I wish I could have gotten him in instead of Vucevic, but you got to trust the process there. And Brunson, he was chalky, obvious play there. THT, 3.4K, didn't get the start. I wasn't too worried. I still thought he would get high usage off the bench, so I didn't end up swapping there. Ended up getting there, 22 fantasy points. And then Markieff Morris, same sort of thing, just good value. But the main reason I lost, I think, was because of this Porzingis-Hardaway combo. Hardaway did fine, but Porzingis was just awful for his price tag here. 58%, so wasn't as highly owned as on FanDuel. Only got us 37 fantasy points, so that really hurt. If you scroll up, there was like a 2v2. I think it was the second team in the optimal. Yeah, just scroll up. Yeah, right there, 43rd place. That train right there. So if you click view head to head, and then change the right guy to me.
Jeez, how do I do this? I have to like search you.
I'll just scroll down. I think you can find me. Maybe not. Okay, well, the 2v2 here was John Collins and Dennis Schroeder versus my Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, in hindsight, I think this Collins Schroeder side was actually the better call here on DK. I think Schroeder was too good to pass up on, and obviously I passed up on him in DraftKings, so that kind of hurt me. John Collins, he was a good play as well without Capella there, but he kind of sucked. But I do think this side of the 2v2 was better, so this is definitely a situation where I think I was on the wrong side. There's obviously a few sharp players here on this team, so I do think this side was better than my side yesterday. And then we can scroll up, just find McLovin's team. He just had that 1v1 that I just want to see quickly.
Got Blender, your boy Brendan. Blender.
Yeah, so that's the Roto Grinders optimal train right there at 21st. And then, yeah, this was the team before the Fournier news. Exactly same team. Hardaway, Porzingis there. But it just had Embiid over Vucevic. Kind of wish I stayed here. But, I mean, it happens. This game went into OT, obviously. I still think I would have lost the 1v1 here, even if it didn't go into OT. Embiid was absolutely crushing. But, yeah, I mean, this is what you gotta do. You gotta learn. You gotta see what you could have done differently, stuff like that.
Yeah, I see your boy Brandon, Chris. He's saying Vooch was a monster play with Fournier out. Lots of people out for Pistons, so Svi and Ellington were solid. I think he said that when we were back on this page here, FanDuel, talking about Blender. But I think you said about Svi. What did you say about Svi on FanDuel? Something about his price tag.
He wasn't a play on FanDuel, but Vucevic definitely was. He was in like probably 6 of our top 10 teams. Just wasn't in the first team. But yeah, Vuce was definitely a great play here. I'm not going to argue that at all.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, super cool how a lot of the optimals that we create here with our projections, you can kind of decide what you like better yourself. You don't always have to play the optimal there. But it's such a solid starting point. Super cool. It does make it a lot easier to get into DFS that way, I think. But yeah, I think that's it for that. So we got your NHL here, Chris, 223 to 333. Nice. Is this the opto here for NHL?
No, I usually switch a few things in NHL. So I didn't play any players versus my goalie. Didn't want to do that. Still got there a little bit. Obviously didn't win every contest, but still did all right.
Yep. Then we got Turnburn here. DraftKings GOAT. He's got, I can't actually see this, but this was some single game stuff here. Guessing this was a multi-entry tournament, Chris?
Yeah, he says right there it was the Utah Philly game. So I think he plays a lot of single game stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was probably the big tournament or something.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's it for today. You can jump into the slate. Let's see what we got in the chat. We got Trigger, got Rondo, VN Jones in here. Says, Chris, you think you'll sprinkle in a little Ty Jerome tonight?
I mean, I haven't been on Ty Jerome at all. He got there again yesterday. Today, we're assuming that Horford's going to be out. Obviously, it's back to back. So I think today's a better play. Today, he's a better play than yesterday. But at the same time, we have a ton of value. We have Curry out, Draymond out. So definitely prefer the Warriors guys for value. We have Svi again on DraftKings. I prefer him over Ty Jerome. So I'm probably not going to play him, but I'm not gonna say no as hard as I did yesterday.
Yep. What else we got? Durag King in here. What's up? Hasty in here. Trigger. Got Brandon. Got Mike. He says FanDuel Opto did well last night. Austin says thanks for breaking down those lineups. Yeah. I guess people do like your homework segment, Chris. We had it before, right? We kind of did it, or did we? We did it for tournaments before, right?
Yeah, we did it for tournaments. Austin's actually the one that suggested it, so that's why I wanted to do it. I think it's a good idea too.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I think it's a good idea because you kind of, I mean, that is how you improve, I think, as a daily fantasy player. You kind of go back, you see what other people did, and then you try to think why they might have done that in hindsight, kind of. So, yeah. But yeah, 9 games here today, Chris. Before we get into the slate here, maybe just a quick overview of any of your favorite news that you have so far, and maybe the games that you'd be super interested in targeting today.
Yeah, so we have this sort of end of season, end of halfway point slate today where we're going to have a ton of injuries, not injuries, but rest. We're probably going to have a ton more news come out after the slate locks. So it's definitely not a slate that you can leave alone after lock. So we have Curry, Draymond out. We have Dame in the spot against the Kings, which we always love. That's the high total game on the slate. We have Paul George questionable, so we have to wait for that news. Not Paul George, Kawhi Leonard questionable. That's the first game of the slate, so we should know in time. They're playing the Wizards, so really good matchup there. And then we have Giannis, as always, who I always love to pick. But yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Okay. The new feature we have, guys, by the way, I'm not sure if we'll use it today. I think Chris had some issues, might have to fix a few things. But if you go to our tool now, you click this filter here next to the player names. You'll be able to select Chris's cash core there. I don't think he's added anything right now. But
yeah,
if he does,
it wasn't working, so I'm not going to use it today. But I mean, definitely after the break, we'll be using that.
yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You can actually we can have anybody can make their favorite plays here. We could list anyone's plays. Like if, I don't know, if someone wants to have their plays listed up here, we could also do that. It's pretty cool. We could get Trigger's core in here if we wanted to. We could get my sneaky plays in here. But obviously, the one that you're going to want to use is going to be Chris's cash core. So we'll have that in pretty soon. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, It's pretty straightforward to use once we have it. So I don't know, I'm just going to add a player here. So if you do have the ability to create, I guess, your favorite players, you'll be able to just select the player, go up here, add it to your list, and then anyone else that goes here goes there now. Everyone will see this. So if you're on the website now, you can actually filter by my sneaky plays, and you'll see Noel there at the top. So that's pretty cool. One of the features we'll be working on. So it's almost ready. I think just a few issues that Chris had. I think he couldn't add more than 2 players for some reason. I could add more than 2, but his just wasn't working. So we'll fix that up, and then I guess we'll start using that a bit more. But it's pretty cool that you can just use the tool now. You don't have to jump into the Discord and ask Chris what his favorite core plays are. You can just update it here throughout the slate. So that's really cool. You don't have to refresh your page. So if I add another player, you'll see him right away here. You don't have to refresh anything. So yeah, super cool stuff there. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see if anyone else would want to, if we'd want to add anyone else in here, like a community filter or something like that. But we do have to put yours at the top. Maybe add like a few stars beside yours so everyone knows that's the one to pay attention to. Maybe lighten up the font on the other one so they know don't pay too much attention. But yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, first game we have Toronto, Boston here. Toronto side, lots of guys still out for them. So we have OG out, Pat McCaw, Fred VanVleet, Siakam, and Flynn all out. And then projected starters, Kalo, Terrence Davis, Norm Powell, Watanabe, and Baines. Who do you like there, Chris, on Toronto with all their guys out? Lots of guys out.
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the starters here. If we get Chris Boucher starting, he's going to be in play for us again. But yesterday he didn't start, so we kind of jumped off him once we got that news. But same guys missing today, Siakam, OG, and VanVleet. So we do have interest in some of these guys up top. Lowry, he's a little expensive. He's 8.5, around 8.5 on both sites. So I don't love it here today. I'm fine with it if you want to go there as sort of a last piece, but I just think we have other guys that we're prioritizing more today. They're only implied to score 106 here. So I don't love Lowry in cash games. I think he makes for a good tournament play today, though. Same sort of thing for Boucher, especially if he's not starting. I think he's a really good tournament play. If he ends up starting, I think we can probably play him in cash games, but obviously we'll have to wait for that news. And then Norm Powell, I think on FanDuel, he makes for a good tournament play. On DraftKings, he kind of fits the cash game build. He's 7K over there, so a little cheaper than FanDuel. We saw him shoot 20 times yesterday, 30% usage rate, played 38 minutes in that sort of tough matchup against Detroit. Well, not tough matchup, but pace down matchup. This is like the same sort of thing. It's one of the lowest over-unders on the slate. Like I said, they're only implied to score 106. So that's why we're not playing everyone here. Even though they're depleted. But Norm Powell here is probably my favorite play in cash games on DK.
Okay. Yeah, lots of interesting plays here, I think. Anything that would stand out for you in tournaments on Toronto here, Chris? Depleted squad.
Yeah, so just the guys I went over. Maybe you could add Terrence Davis to that list, but he didn't do too well yesterday. He started, only played 20 minutes. So I don't love that. So it's probably just the guys I went over.
Yeah, I think Terrence Davis, he looked a little shaky the other day. Not sure if he'll bounce back tonight, but he definitely looked off yesterday. But yeah, Boston side, we got Marcus Smart, Romeo Langford, both out for them. Projected starters, Kemba Walker, Brown, Tatum, Tice, and Thompson. Who do you like here on the Celtics going up against Toronto?
I don't really like anyone here, honestly. Kemba's in, so that hurts Brown and Tatum. Brown and Tatum have been playing awfully recently. So definitely don't like anyone here in cash games. If you want to play one of these guys in tournaments like Tatum, Brown, Walker, I don't mind it. You're going to get reduced ownership on them just because their game logs are so poor. It's not the worst matchup against Toronto. They're implied to score 114 here. So, I mean, I don't hate it, but for me personally, I'm going to stay away here on this giant slate.
Okay. Let's see what we got in the chat. Dinda says class in session. He's here, thanks. Why does he say this instead of professors? The cat one.
Professor. I think he has a cat.
Got it. professors. Yeah, Dinda always shows up, never late to class, always on time, 5 minutes early, talking to the professors before class starts. Brandon Chris, he says, my boy Chris over Blender. He's got your back. Dinda here is voting for the Golden Trigger Core. I think we could get that one in if he wants to do it. That'd be pretty cool, I think. What do you think of that, Chris? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, kind of like a DFS crunch business decision, putting you on the spot, but
Yeah, I'm probably against it. I think it should be an exclusive thing. I mean, Trigger's a good player, but I mean, it's not like he's a part of the company. I think it should kind of stay inside. Once we get more people working for us, I mean, if Trigger wants to work for DFS Crunch, then sure. But I mean, I don't know if we should just have like members have cores there, because then there's people who aren't a part of the community, like in the Discord, on the shows, that have access to the DFS Crunch thing, and then they see random players. I'm not saying Trigger's a random guy, but just saying they'll see random names, and maybe they'll trust it. So I mean, if we just give it out to everyone, it kind of loses the exclusivity factor.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not saying everyone, just some guys if they want to do it, but at the same time, I guess it's maybe some pressure on Trigger or whoever we would do it, just to do it for free, like every day. But yeah, I think we can consider it, talk about it some more after the show. I had a feeling you wouldn't like me putting that question up on the spot here, but I still did it.
I'm fine with it. I just don't want to make anyone feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Like, if people don't know who's who, that's one thing. Because I think first and foremost, like, your core plays here are the most important ones, and if there's no way of people knowing about that, then I think that, yeah, then that's probably not a good thing. But if there was some way to tell, like, oh, like, these are community ones, or these are just like whatever, I think then that'd be different. But yeah. Vian Jones says, Robert Williams is my tournament pivot play from this game, Chris, from the Boston one. What do you think of that?
Yeah, he's been playing really well. So I have no problems with that.
Okay. What else we got? Trigger says blowout. Robert Williams will eat. What is the spread on that one, Chris? The Toronto game. Do you know it?
8 points for Boston.
Yeah. Yeah. Toronto didn't look good at all the other day, but I do have faith in my Raptors. I feel like they could bounce back. They could have a strong game, especially against the Celtics. Kind of rivals there. Maybe not so much with all their guys missing, but I feel like a guy like what's his face, Kyle Lowry might have a good game. So yeah.
We got to give Vian Jones some love too. He called out Claxton yesterday. He said he would have Claxton as his value play for 3-2 on DraftKings yesterday. I think Claxton crushed, so that was pretty cool there.
Yeah. Ghosty says his lineup yesterday was Dennis Schroeder, Brunson, THT, Kuz, Collins, Lowry, Porzingis, and Ross. Total 297 on DK. I think Collins had a pretty bad game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. John Carter says the arguments would be so fun though. Got Trust the Opto here. Yeah, Trigger says, appreciate the love. I'll just post the favorite ones, low owned guys in Discord. I think that's the way. Discord's pretty chill to use. Let's see. We've got Deshaun in here. What's up? Royal King says, last night, bad night for my slates. Hopefully today's better. Only thing about today is, like you said, Chris, just got to be careful with all the news that comes out. Trigger says Hasty's college b-ball core is godlike. That'd be an interesting one to do. Hasty's, if we could get Hasty for college basketball, that'd be cool. He knows his stuff, so actually I think that would be a good first one to do. If he's interested in that, I could talk to you after the show. Hasty could set you up for that, so you could do college. You could just do it whenever you play. You don't have to do it every day, but I think it'd be pretty cool. I would definitely take a look at that every day that I play college basketball. So pretty easy to use. Can go over it with you after if you're interested in doing that. That would be awesome. Let's see. Mike says could get confusing if we have everyone doing it. Yeah, probably. Um, Fully Driven says I prefer just to see the core for you guys. Too much information can be confusing. Yeah, I agree. I think you're right there. Um, I was just kind of excited because it's so easy to like add people, add lists in here. It's pretty cool how we created that there. So that's why I kind of brought that up. He says unless the member is crushing and doesn't mind sharing. Yeah, that's definitely hasty for college basketball. So I think hasty on college basketball would be like a perfect one because you and I aren't like college basketball guys. Like we don't know all the players there. Hasty knows every single player, every single team, every single coach, every single narrative. He knows all that stuff for college. So I think his for college would be super super awesome. He says always happy to help. So yeah, I'll talk to you after. Trigger says if you think the game will stay close, the other guys got to step up. I think in Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably a little concerned about a blowout here. Toronto hasn't looked great. Obviously, they're missing a bunch of guys, so I'd probably bet the -8 for Boston here if I was betting.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike also says cool with my picks and your picks. Says that's why we're here. Yeah, I think that is good. Plus hasty for college because he knows his stuff. Yeah, I think that is settled there. Kind of keep it exclusive. Kind of keep it less information. So it's not too much. Yeah, we got D Rose out, Chris.
D Rose out.
Yeah, health and safety.
What about Frank Ntilikina?
Let's see what this tweet says. No, it just says D Rose.
Okay, well it's a little interesting. Ntilikina got the start last time, but this time he's questionable. So if he's out, I think quickly will probably become a lock. He was just chucking last time.
Yeah, Ghosty likes quickly. He already said that. Duke says Celtics are gonna win. Probably, but I'm still interested in my Raptors. Always am. Deshaun says was playing NBA tiers. My original lineup was Harden, Curry, Zion, Embiid, Sexton, and Oladipo. But I blew it. Would have been great to wake up 750 richer. Yeah, what do you make of that, Chris? Hindsight, 2020. You got to trust your process.
What was the what did he say?
He said his original team was good. I think he switched it to some other guys. And then in hindsight, he realized that if he just left it, it would have been better. But I mean, that's the thing with DFS. Like, I don't know. Like, I think you have to put more weight on your process, kind of your decision making, and kind of stick to that and have faith in that. Because sometimes you might get it wrong, but it's more about the long term. Like long term, if your decision making process, if the way you choose your players is solid, I think that'll be better than kind of worrying about what could have been if you left it. Because if you did that, then obviously like the decisions that led you to switch your lineup after, you have to put some weight to that. Like you have to, I don't know. What do you think of that, Chris? Because I know that's like a common thing people kind of worry about or think about playing DFS. Hindsight's always 2020 and everything. I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts on that because you've been playing DFS for a while. So I'm sure you've had times where you felt like that, especially when you started. Even now you have that sometimes, but you still stick to your process.
Yeah, the thing is though, like you notice the times where you switch off of the good team, but you don't notice the times where you switch off of the bad team. So, I mean that's a big thing. I think more times than not, you're probably going to switch off of a worse team to a better team as long as you're following the news, stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's just because you don't realize when you're switching off a bad team that you did well because you did that. You sort of more realize when you're switching off a good team.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think I also remember reading something about like if you're walking down the street and like you drop like $1, you'd be more upset about dropping that dollar than like if you were walking on the street and you like found $1, not your dollar, like an extra dollar. You wouldn't care about that as much as if you knew you lost like $1 or $5 or whatever. So I think that's kind of the same thing what you just said. You kind of notice the times where like it costs you, but you don't notice the times where it saved you as much. But yeah. See Mike saying for NASCAR, can you guys add a Dominator option? What is that? What is that, Chris?
I think it's there's like I think it's a different slate format. Is that right, Mike? I think DraftKings has Dominator format or something like that. But yeah, if you're talking about the slate, yeah, we could definitely add that. Yeah, I think so. Uh, or no, there's like I know Dominator is like I don't know exactly what it means, but it's like the top not ranked but starting position racers, something like that.
Is it like the
Yeah,
order in
what do
which
you
they
mean?
line up?
Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure. If he could clarify, we could definitely um, come up with an answer.
Yeah. Happy to add more features, guys. Like if you have any ideas or suggestions, always let us know because we do want to add things that are useful. Always want to add new features here to make it kind of the best tool available in the market. So he says gives you an option to group 2 or 3 dominators in each lineup. It's like a group feature. Is it kind of like in baseball you'd want to have like the batting orders? You kind of want to get people close together in the race, like people who line up near each other.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't know exactly what a dominator is, but I think it's something. I think it's something to do with the starting position. But I know. I don't know.
Okay, how
I'll look
about
into
this?
it.
How about Mike? If you don't mind, shoot me or Chris a message, or just send a message in the NASCAR Discord channel, and kind of explain what that is, and then we'll add that in because it sounds like it could be useful. John says Dominator is someone who is likely to lead laps or get fastest laps. Yeah, he'll message us on Discord, so we'll talk about it. We'll add that in. Yeah. But yeah, let's go do this next game, Chris. Clippers, Washington. Already 50 minutes in, we have a massive slate, so we kind of got to get through it here. Clippers side, we got Marcus Morris, doubtful, Kawhi Leonard questionable, and then Patrick Patterson out for them. Projected starters, Pat Bev, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, and Serge Ibaka. Who do you like there, Chris?
Um, so this team is really interesting. Obviously, a really good matchup here against the Washington Wizards. So we do have a lot of interest here. That being said, I'm going to wait for the Kawhi news. He's questionable right now. He had back spasms. I would be pretty surprised if he played here tonight. Obviously, the last day before the All Star break. So I'm probably going to assume that Kawhi sits, but we're going to know before the slate locks. This is the first game that locks. I assume we'll probably know in 15 minutes. So for now, I have a lot of interest in Paul George on both sites. He's one of my favorite plays. He's 7.9K on FanDuel, DK 8.6K. I think on FanDuel, even if Kawhi ends up playing, I can still play Paul George there. Probably on DK, he's probably going to be a little too expensive if Kawhi ends up playing. But we'll have to wait on that news. I think Batum is also interesting here. He's 4.2K on DK, 4.2 on FanDuel as well. So I think he's a good value option tonight. But yeah, I'm going to wait for the news before I kind of make my decisions on the Clippers here, but they're in a really good spot.
Gotcha. Washington, I don't see any news there. Projected starters, Russ, Brad Beal, Garrison Matthews, Rui Hachimura, and Mo Wagner. Anybody there, Chris, that you like?
Yeah, so with Washington, it's always two guys. It's Westbrook and Beal. They're kind of priced oppositely on both sides. So on FanDuel, Beal is more expensive, so I prefer Westbrook there. On DK, Westbrook is more expensive by $500. I still prefer Westbrook there. I think I said it last time. I just feel much safer with his production. He's not as scoring reliant. He does a little bit of everything, or he does a lot of everything. He chases stats, so that's what we like in DFS. But with that being said, I'm not too interested here in these guys going up against the Clippers. Pretty tough matchup. But if I was playing one of them, I would definitely prefer Westbrook here. We also have the narrative of Westbrook versus Paul George. Obviously, they spent a few years in OKC together, so definitely don't mind pairing Westbrook with Paul George in tournaments. But in cash games, I don't think I want anyone here from the Washington Wizards.
We also have Pat Bev, Westbrook, right? They've got the history with each other. Pat Bev always trying to injure Westbrook. So there's also that one. So that's an interesting one as well. Next game, Detroit, New York Knicks. Detroit side, we have Frank Jackson, Josh Jackson, Blake Griffin, DeLon Wright all out, and then Jeremy Grant with the questionable tag. So that's a pretty big one there. Projected starters: Dennis Smith Jr., Ellington, Svi Mihailuk, Sadiq Bey, and Mason Plumlee. Who do you like there, Chris?
Yeah, so this is the lowest over under on the slate by far. It's at 207 right now. This is like a 1980s game. Both teams are probably going to struggle to get to 100 points here. But we have news here that makes people interesting. Jeremy Grant is questionable, like you said. Josh Jackson is out, obviously, with the illness. So I do like Svi again here, especially on DK, where he's 3.1K. I think that's a really good option in cash games there. Other than that, I don't know. I don't want to play anyone here. It's surprisingly it's a pace down spot for the Pistons, who already play slow. So I'm not too interested. Dennis Smith Jr. If Grant ends up being ruled out, definitely don't mind that. He had a triple double yesterday. He's been playing pretty well recently, actually. So I don't mind Dennis Smith Jr. in tournaments. Prefer him more on DraftKings. He's 4.8K there. I think that's actually cash viable if Jeremy Grant ends up being ruled out. But for now, it's just going to be Svi for me in DraftKings cash.
Okay. Let's do the Knicks then. We got Frank Ntilikina questionable, Elf Payton questionable, D Rose out. Was questionable before, but he's out now. So we got Taj Gibson also out. Projected starters over there, we have what it says right now: Frank Ntilikina, Barrett, Bullock, Randall, and Noel. We had some talk about Quickly. Is Quickly a starter, Chris?
Yeah, that's what we have to wait on. So if Frank is out, I think quickly will probably become a lock here. But if Frank ends up starting again like he did last game, then it's harder to play quickly. He was just chucking in garbage time last time. He ended up with 40 fantasy points, 40% usage rate, played 30 minutes, shot 21 times. So, I mean, if he ends up starting, I'll have a ton of interest in him. If he's off the bench, then my interest will only be in tournaments. But that's definitely a big thing to monitor as we kind of lead up to lock. Luckily, it's the second game that locks, so we should know. Maybe not after maybe not by lock, but we'll know before this game starts. So we'll have a ton of places to swap if news ends up going our way. So that's how I'm going to handle that point guard situation. And Alfred Payton's questionable now, so I mean, if he ends up playing, then I don't think we can play quickly in cash games for sure. But the main guy here is going to be Nerlens Noel on FanDuel. They moved him to center now, so he's not a power forward anymore. He's 5.5K over there. No Taj Gibson, so he's been playing a ton of minutes ever since Taj has been out. So today should be no different. He's my favorite center on FanDuel in cash games. I think he's just so safe with his minutes. On DraftKings, I don't think you need him as much. Like you have guys like Giannis, Jokic at center, who I think I'm prioritizing more there. I like spending up at center on DraftKings. So I don't think we need Noel there. And obviously you get the 3 points per block and steal on FanDuel. So kind of the scoring system fits in better on FanDuel.
Yeah. And the best part about our optimizer here, projections all update in the background throughout the day. So all this news here that we'll be getting, it will be taken into account, and the projections will reflect that. So you don't have to worry about too much. Anyone new here, we do have this bell up here in the top right that shows you all of the projected ownership, PO, and projected fantasy point changes that happen. So it's just an easy way to see if something did change. You don't have to refresh your page. So the projections will automatically just change over here for you. But then if you're kind of curious what is going on, like what's happened since you last checked, just hover over here when it's yellow, and then it'll just show you that who's there. And then you can also actually switch your threshold here. So if you have this at like 5, for example, it's only gonna notify you over here of changes if they're if they're greater than 5 fantasy points. So if you don't want to see like small adjustments, you can switch that down or switch that up to 5 or whatever. Same thing with projected ownership. You can crank that up to 10 if you want. But yeah, it's pretty cool that you can do that. Let me load up the next game, Chris. Is there any chat that you want to quickly go over?
Is there? I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me see here. Is there anything you see?
No, but I need to refresh the page. I don't know what's going on with my browser.
Let's see what Brandon says. He typed an essay here. He says Plumlee will be a great play for everything. With when Grant is ruled out, lots of people will be ruled out if the last game before if it's the last game before All-Star break. They get a week off after tonight, so I think most questionable people will take the night off tonight. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think Grant ends up sitting here. He had the quad injury, but I do think there's. I don't know. I think Kawhi also sits. He's questionable. I think Peyton might play here. I think Sabonis plays. He's also questionable. Bam and Butler, not sure about them. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a pretty crazy slate. I think Oubre ends up playing. He's questionable. Um, so we'll have to wait and see. I mean, can't really speculate there. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Trigger says Noel Cash, but I hate him in tournaments. I feel like Thibodeau has some sort of grudge against Quickly. He got a lot of minutes in blowout run last game. Yeah, I mean he was just chucking in blowout time. But if Frank ends up being ruled out, if Alfred Payton is ruled out, I think that Quickly will become a great play if he's starting.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I think it's not the website that messed up. It's my browser. I gotta fix it. It's like it looks like I have a virus, but I don't have a virus. I know my stuff, I think, but for some reason, like the sites don't load on Firefox here, so I gotta fix that. But that's what happened. Also saw this comment here from Pac Van Chris. I think we've heard this one before. It's about you. It says enjoy your takes a lot since you take stances on players. Yeah, so that's something you do. You take your stances, Chris. I guess it's not too common in the industry. People kind of say they like everyone.
Yeah, I mean, some people do, some people don't. But yeah, when I was watching a lot of content, I definitely gravitated towards more of the people who took stances. That's sort of why I do the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, John says I'm not using protection on my computer. You don't need protection on Linux. Maybe you do, but no, I think it's okay. It's just the browser's acting weird. Got to reinstall it. But yeah, next game, Chris. Got to get through this slate because it's kind of a long show already. Bucks against the Grizzlies here. Bucks side, we got Jordan Nwora out for them. Don't know how to this guy. Mamadi Diakite. He's out for them. We got Miles Powell. I think two-way contract for them, so I think he's in their roster today. I'm not sure if he'll get any floor time. Projected starters: Drew Holiday, DiVincenzo, your boy, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Lopez. Anyone here, Chris?
Yeah, so he's been my favorite spend up for like the past month or so. Every time he plays, today's really no different. He's 11-3 on FanDuel. On DK, he's 11K flat. He's center eligible there. If you look at his game log, he's just been crushing. Like he's getting 60s, 65, 70, almost nightly. He has some down games, but his down games are like 50. So I mean, this guy's just a stud. I love targeting him whenever I can. Holiday is still on that minutes restriction, so doesn't really eat into Giannis's production that much yet. So I love Giannis today. He's my favorite spend up on both sites in cash games. And then outside of him, we have Chris Middleton again. He's 8-4 on DK, so I don't like that price tag at all. But on FanDuel, where he's 7.5K, I think that's viable in cash games. They have a high team total here at 120. So, I mean, I expect this game to stay close as well. It's a 6.5 point spread. So shouldn't blow out. These guys should get their full minutes, but my favorite plays here are going to be Giannis and Middleton. Don't really want anyone else here from the Bucks, just because these two guys kind of run the show for them.
Yep. Okay, Memphis side, we have Grayson Allen out for them. Projected starters: John Morant, Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, and Jonas Valanciunas. You always like John Morant, Chris. Price tag kind of sneaking up a bit slowly. Who do you like here today?
Yeah, so this side, I don't love it here. Yeah, like they're pretty healthy. Obviously, Grayson Allen is still out. Kyle Anderson is back tonight. He's missed a few games, so kind of off of guys like Winslow, I think. Melton had the huge game last time. Don't want to chase that. He's 5.3K on FanDuel, 4.7 on DK. Pretty tough matchup here against Milwaukee, in my opinion. So I mean, I don't really like anyone here too much. It's just going to be tournament options. Like if you're playing Giannis as your spend up in a tournament and you want to run it back, I'm fine with Ja in that situation. I'm fine with Jovel in that situation as well. But just in terms of cash games, there's no one here for me.
Okay. We did get the Wizards starting five confirmed here. Chris, do you want those?
Yeah, so it's just the same as usual, so no difference there.
Okay. Yeah, let me load up the next game. Hasty says everyone else is waffles. Chris doesn't play around. Do you know that one, Chris? Waffles?
Must be a Quebec thing.
You got Pac fan. He says I like Plumlee a lot if Grant is out in tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problems with that. The only thing is he's center on FanDuel. And obviously, you can only pick one there. So I like him a little more on DK. He has triple double upside if Grant is ruled out. But I mean, at the same time, it's a pace down spot here for them. They're only implied to score 100 points. That's why I don't love it. But I don't think it's a bad option in tournaments.
Yeah, and I think I saw this comment. I'm not sure if you read it while I was fixing my browser, but I think it was someone said they don't like Noel against the Plumlee matchup.
Yeah, I didn't read that, but I mean, is it they don't like Noel against Plumlee or they don't like Plumlee against Noel?
I think it was Noel against Plumlee.
I mean, Noel's going to get his points through blocks and steals and rebounds. He's not going to score. Like, he's not a post up big. He's just like he stays in the dunker spot, gets like drop off passes, some lobs. So I mean, I'm not really concerned about any matchup thing for him. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, he should be able to get there.
Yeah, that was Durag. He says, yeah, doesn't like Noel against Plumlee. Trigger says Jokic single-handedly owned Milwaukee last game. Durag says, I like Alex Len. He's going to lock Len. What do you think of locking Len, Chris?
I liked Alex Len when he was on Phoenix. He had a bigger role there, especially those end-of-season games where they were thin on bodies. We were playing guys like Tyler Ulis, Devin Booker, Alex Len. They were always in play. But yeah, today, not for me.
Yeah, waffling, Hasty says, it means you keep changing your position, can't decide on anything. Old person thing, he says. Kawhi is in as well, Chris.
Kawhi's in? Okay. Yeah, so I went over the Clippers sort of as if Kawhi was in. So probably not as interested in Paul George on DraftKings now, but I do think he's still a good play on FanDuel for 7.9.
Yeah, Marcus Morris out for them too, for the Clippers. Yeah, so next game, Denver, Indiana. Denver side, we have lots of guys out here. So Paul Millsap, Campazzo, JaMychal Green, RJ Hampton, Marcus Howard, and Gary Harris are all out for them. Projected starters, we have Jamal Murray, Monte Morris, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., and Nikola Jokic. Who do you like there, Chris?
Yeah, so on FanDuel here, no one really stands out. Like we have Jokic who's in a great spot, but he's center. He's 11-6 there now. He's been crushing recently. He's obviously my favorite Denver Nugget here, but can't really go there on FanDuel. I prefer Giannis a little bit, and then we have Noel there at center now, so it's hard to spend up at center. I think on DK, that's where Jokic is more in play. He's 10.9K over there, so $700 cheaper than on FanDuel. I do think he's a good play there. I'm fine with him in cash games. He's been crushing it. Same thing as Giannis. Like Trigga said, he kind of single-handedly won that game against the Bucks for them. He's been doing that all season. So I love Jokic today here on DK. He's cash viable. He's not currently in my build, but I do think if you want to play him over Giannis, you could do that at center. Obviously, they're only a $100 difference between the two, so I don't mind that if you prefer Jokic. I prefer Giannis, but definitely both are viable. And then in tournaments, he's a really good option on both sides. Like I said, on FanDuel, he's center eligible, so I don't think the popular construction will be spending up at center, so I love him in tournaments there, and on DK as well. I think his ceiling is really high here. And then outside of that, I'm not too interested in their other guys just because Jokic kind of does everything for them. We were playing Will Barton before on FanDuel just because Campazzo's out, Michael Green is out, Gary Harris is out, Paul Millsap is out. But he kind of got priced up a little bit, so not too interested in that anymore. Michael Porter Jr., same sort of thing. He's priced up now. So I think most of my interest here comes from Jokic.
Okay. Seeing a bit of news here. So we have Jeremy Grant out, Kelly Oubre questionable, I think, with the left wrist. Horford out, Harry Giles out, and Josh Hall out. So probably the biggest one there is Grant.
Yeah, so kind of expected that. The biggest news was really Kawhi being in. That's the one thing that I didn't really expect. But yeah, everything else there is kind of as expected.
Okay. Let's go over Indiana then. Over there we have Sabonis questionable and Lamb questionable. Projected starters Brogdon, Justin Holiday, Doug McDermott, Sabonis, and Turner. Anybody there, Chris?
Yeah, so this Sabonis news is going to be pretty big. I have some interest on Brogdon today on FanDuel. He's 6.7K. We haven't seen him this low all season. Maybe, yeah, opening day he was 6.6, and then after that he's always been above 7K. So this is a pretty good price tag for Brogdon. I do think we can take advantage of that on FanDuel in cash games. So definitely don't mind that play. Probably the only guy, like TJ McConnell, we saw him have that huge game yesterday, 70 fantasy points. He had 9 steals in the first half. I thought he was going to break the record, which is 11. He only ended up with 10, unfortunately. But yeah, that was definitely a crazy performance by TJ McConnell. I don't love him today just because I think some people will chase that play. So I don't love that. So I'll stay away here today. But yeah, he's 5K on FanDuel, so I guess that's decent. 6K on DK, I wouldn't do that. If you want to play him on FanDuel, go for it. But I personally wouldn't. Just don't want to chase when everyone else does. And then, yeah, like I said, the Sabonis news is what we have to watch out for. I think he's going to play here. He was questionable yesterday as well. Ended up playing. So I think similar thing happens here today. So my interest from this team just comes from Brogdon on FanDuel.
You think people chase a 10 steal performance, Chris, or are they just chasing it because he's been playing quite well the last few games?
I mean, both. Like they see, if you look at his game log, he had a game of 70. He had a game of 50. He's been in the 30s as well. So it's not like he's a bad play, but I mean, he played 36 minutes yesterday. So maybe if Jeremy Lamb is out, he'll be more viable. I think if that happens, we can play him on FanDuel for 5K. But for now, I'm probably going to stay away.
Got it. Okay, let's go over the next game. Let me load it up. One sec. Got Miami here against New Orleans. So Miami side first, we have Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, questionable tags, Gabe Vincent, probable tag, and then Bradley out for them. Projected starters, we have Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Kelly Olynyk, and Bam Adebayo. Who do you like there, Chris?
Yeah, so can't really say anything here. Bam and Jimmy are both questionable. I have no idea what's going to happen. If they don't play, we'll have interest in guys like Dragic, Hero, Olynyk, Nunn. But I mean, I think at least one of these guys plays. So I don't know. It's hard to analyze just because I don't know what's going to happen here. If they both play, I'm not going to play anyone here. And like I said, if they're out, I'll have interest in the guys I mentioned.
Okay. Yeah, Hasty loves that 70 burger out of McConnell. Dreg says, what do you think about DDR, Chris, and SGA?
DDR and SGA. I like SGA a lot. We'll get into that. I think that's the next game, so we'll talk about that once we get there.
Okay. Your boy Brandon here says, is Noel 4K on FanDuel or something? Don't understand how he's such a lock in cash today. Really don't like it. I think he is pretty cheap, isn't he?
He's 5'5". No Taj Gibson, so he's been playing all the minutes that he could handle. He gets blocks, he gets steals. He rebounds, so he's pretty safe there for 5.5K.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he has like 50-point upside. So if you're trying to get 50-point upside, I guess I would go up to Plumlee for 800 more. But I think in cash games, he's a really good play there on FanDuel.
Yeah. Vian Jones says, fire up Precious tonight, Chris.
Yeah, if Bam is out, might have a precious night here.
Yeah, Precious Night is good. Pelicans side, we have just JJ Redick, questionable tag. Projected starters, we have Lonzo Ball, Bledsoe, Ingram, Zion, and Steven Adams. Who do you like there, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I got burned with Ingram yesterday. He got benched, so I don't want to play him again. Um, Not the greatest matchup here against the Heat. JJ Redick is questionable, so that's something to watch out for. Maybe if he's out, you can play someone like Hart in tournaments. But for me, as I always say with this team, it's always Zion and Ingram. I prefer Zion today as well, but I mean, I'm not getting there on either site on either format. But I don't mind. I don't mind Zion or Ingram here if you want to go there in tournaments. But personally, like I said, I'm not landing there.
Okay. Next up, OKC, San Antonio. So this is the question. This is the game with the two guys. We had a question about DDR and SGA, so we can get over that. Go over that now. Just go over the injuries and starters. OKC, we have Horford, doubtful with the back-to-back rest. Josh Hart, questionable. And then Hamidou Diallo is out for them. Projected starters, SGA, Theo Maledon, Luguentz Dort, Baisley, and Isaiah Roby. Who do you like there, Chris?
Yeah, so I love SGA here on FanDuel. He's 8.2K. On DraftKings, he's 9K, so I'm not interested in that price tag. But I do think he's a really good option on FanDuel. He's currently in my lineup, so I have no problems with him. And then Roby, he gets the bump here with Al Horford being, well, he's doubtful now, but I mean, we expect him to be out. So Roby gets the bump. He's 4.6 on FanDuel. I think he's more expensive on DK. Roby, yeah, he's 5.4 on DK. So I don't love that price tag, but I think on FanDuel, we can definitely play that for value. So I like that a lot. Outside of those two guys, not too much here for me. Like Ty Jerome, as everyone probably knows, I'm not too high on him here. He's still the backup point guard to Maledon. SGA is still the main ball handler here. So, I mean, Ty Jerome could get there, but it's not for me tonight. Yeah, so it's going to be SGA on FanDuel and then Roby on FanDuel as well. They're priced better here on FanDuel. That's why I prefer them there.
Okay, let's go over San Antonio and get into that DDR question. Rudy Gay out, LMA out, Vassell out, and Derek White out. Projected starters, DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, DDR, Trey Lyles, and Jakob Poeltl. Let's get into that DDR question first, Chris. What do you think of DeRozan today?
So I'm fine with DeRozan. I don't think it's a great spot here. Like it's a pace down spot against the Thunder. If you're in that price range, like I would just pay down a little, go down to Paul George. I think he's a much better play here tonight. So I'm fine with DeRozan. I'm fine with DeJounte Murray, but they're both expensive for me. That's why I don't love it. Obviously Aldridge is out here tonight, so we can go back to Poeltl. He's been pretty safe for 30 fantasy points a night. So if you want to go there in cash games, if you don't trust Noel on FanDuel, you want to go up to Poeltl. I think that's a pretty safe option there as well. But yeah, the Spurs, they're not really popping too much today. They're only implied to score 113. Don't love the matchup against the Thunder here. They don't play very fast. So yeah, I'm not too high on the Spurs here tonight.
Okay. Yeah, next up we have Sacramento, Portland. Let me just load that up. Dread King says he likes DeRozan today.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, but I mean, like I said, he's not popping out too much for me, but I'm fine with it if you're landing there.
Yep. So Sacramento side, we have Buddy Buckets, questionable tag. 3 guys out, Halliburton, Jabari Parker, and Whiteside. Projected starters, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Rashawn Holmes. I think Barnes has been looking pretty decent recently. I think he's been pretty good. Yeah, who do you like on Sacramento, Chris? Any interest in someone like Barnes in maybe tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. My interest mostly here, or most of my interest here, comes from the other side of this game. Um, so I'm fine with these guys. I always like picking on Portland. This game is the second highest over under on the slate at 236 and a half. So it is a really good game environment here. If Buddy Hield ends up being ruled out, then we'll have more interest in these guys. But yeah, as of now, not really landing on any of them in my cash games, but I do think they're good options here. Tieran Fox, obviously, always my favorite option on the Kings. He's 8.3 on FanDuel. DK 8.9K, so that's a little pricey for me. Don't know if I could get there on DK, but I definitely think he's in play on FanDuel. Yeah, like Harrison Barnes, you had the question about him. I think he's too expensive now. 7K on FanDuel, 7.1 on DK, so don't think I can get there. Yeah, so I mean, most of my interest here is going to come from De'Aaron Fox. I think Rashawn Holmes is actually interesting on DraftKings for 6.4K. FanDuel 7K, don't want to go there, but I do like the DraftKings price tag there. And then last guy I'll mention is Nemanja Bjelica. He's 4K on DraftKings, 4.4 on FanDuel. I think if Buddy Hield gets ruled out, maybe they'll start Bjelica here. So I would have a lot of interest if he ends up starting.
Yeah, I'd be happy with the Nemanja Knight. I remember last time I played him, I think I took down some tournaments over in the European DFS leagues that I'm playing in. I think he had that 43 burger here against Miami, so I liked that. Was that a game where a few guys were out, Chris?
Yeah, he started that game.
Yeah, so I love a Nemanja start. Yeah, I feel like I could see a Nemanja Knight, especially if Buddy is ruled out there. Let's see. Trigger says Barnes playing big minutes. Dakota says, I saw somewhere that playing Harrison Barnes is like eating your vegetables.
Yeah, I mean it's not a nice experience. I mean, yeah, I like that. I like that. What's it called? Metaphor.
Yeah.
No,
Dreg likes Fox a lot tonight and Barnes. Yeah, Barnes kind of expensive, so get into that in a sec. But I like someone like Rocco a lot more on the other side. I feel like the other side's a bit more interesting for tournaments for me as well. Dakota says, is Garry sharking the Euros and DFS now? Definitely.
He really is.
Dureg says Barnes so consistent this season. Pac Fan says, if Hield is out, do you like Fox more than Lillard? Chris, that's a good question.
If Hield is out, do I like Fox more than Lillard?
Yeah.
Mm, I don't know. That's a really tough one. I don't know, because then I'll have to play Fox over Lillard, and then I'll have to change some other things. I don't think so. Um, that's a really tough one. I would say maybe on FanDuel it could be viable if there's a swap, because I think we won't know until that game starts. But yeah, that's a very interesting question. I don't really have a stance there. I haven't thought about that too much.
Yep. Dakota says, where can I get in on the Euro DFS? There's a few sites, but there's some issues there. Like, you can't use PayPal, you can't use credit card. There's like 20% conversion fees. Like, it's expensive. Before they used to do PayPal, now they don't. And then the other thing is, like, there's no contest there. Like, you can't get more than like $50 in like head-to-heads or cash games a night. Like, it's really hard, so it's not the best. I'd recommend sticking to FanDuel and DraftKings. But question here, your boy Brandon Chris, another essay from him. He says, just don't know how Noel is going to be popping so much, even with all the minutes he's been playing. At 5.5K, he would only have 5x one time in the last 6 games, and it's the lowest total game. I'm probably overthinking it, though. He says, trust the optimal.
I mean, yeah, we're banking on the minutes. That's the big thing. Yeah, like you're a game log guy. He had 40 fantasy points last time against the same Pistons. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess you're right. He hasn't been getting 5x too often, but we're banking on the minutes here. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to try to talk you onto Nerlens Noel. Like he's also a vegetable guy. It's a slow grind with him. But yeah, I'm fine with playing him.
Yeah, Dakota says real shark answer for me. More fish for Garry. I like that one. Trigger says Lillard's gonna explode. Dureg says I like Barnes because he went 0 for 3 from 3. If Buddy's out, Barnes will be taking more shots. I just seem to like this game for like late night hammer for tournaments. Seems like a few of these guys from this game are gonna be in the top lineups. I could definitely see that. It always seems like it's like the late night Sacramento or Portland games that always get up there. But yeah, I just saw Zion Williamson, Chris. He is doubtful. His right fifth toe is irritated.
Are you serious?
What?
Right fifth toe?
Yeah, so like is that the pinky toe?
I mean, it must be.
Right.
Yeah, that's giant news here.
It's from the Pelicans. It says Zion Williamson, brackets, right fifth toe irritation is doubtful for tonight's. Why can't they just say pinky toe? What is that right fifth toe? Oh my god. Yeah, that tweet there's definitely top 5 soft guys. Yeah, I mean, like, it sounds like he has like a blister or something on his right fifth toe, sitting it out. But I mean, this is what you kind of said with the last game here, leading up to the All-Star break. You're gonna see a lot of random stuff like this, people taking it off, kind of like the last day of school before summer. Like nobody cares. Like you just show up, but you don't have to do anything. It's kind of like that, I think.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. But yeah, I'm glad we got the news before lock. Yeah, we're definitely gonna play some Pelicans here now.
Yeah. Pac fan says Lillard seems to be getting load management these last few games. Didn't come into the second quarter last game because Melo was playing well. Would you be surprised to see Lillard maybe take some time off today? Maybe play a bit less last day of school here.
I would be very surprised. The thing with him is his rotation is plays the entire first quarter, plays the entire third quarter, and then in the second quarter he comes back in with like 5 minutes left. So if you add it up, that's 17 in the first half, and then in the fourth quarter he plays obviously the whole third, and then he comes in with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That's his normal rotation. So if you add that up, what is it? 12 plus 8, 20, 37 minutes. Yeah, so he usually plays around 37. The game against Charlotte, where he only played 34, I was watching that game. It was very weird. So he played his first quarter rotation. Second quarter, he went to the scores table with 5 minutes left, or like 5:30. And then that game, there was no whistles, so he didn't come in until there were like 2 minutes left. So he was sitting there for 3 minutes. So that kind of lowered his minutes a little bit, but yeah, I'm not too concerned here. It's a really good matchup against the Kings. So I love Lillard tonight. He's one of my favorite spend ups.
Yeah, here's Lillard's popcorn machine, Chris. You can kind of see it here. Pretty much what you said, though. But yeah, let's go to the other half of this game, the one you're more interested in. Portland side, we have Harry Giles out. Projected starters: Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Derek Jones Jr., Robert Covington, and Enes Kanter. Rocco, he's been playing really well lately. I've been saying that the last show, I think. A few shows before then, I was asking you about his price, like seasons prior when he's been playing well. I think we said it was like mid 7Ks. I think we saw him at like 5. He's been hovering around like 5K this season, I think. Yeah, like 5K, 4K, 6K, but his price is going up a bit. 6K today over on FanDuel. I think on DraftKings it is, what is it there? 5.9. Seems like a guy that I'm interested in, especially in tournaments. Looking at his game log, he's been looking really solid lately, Chris. Is he a guy that you're interested in today, Rocco?
Not really. Like he's just he's so streaky. His shot is falling now, and he's getting his steals. That's why he's putting up big numbers. But the reason I'm not really on him is because at power forward we have Giannis and we have Roby on FanDuel. And then on DK, obviously you don't get as many points for steals and blocks. That's where he gets a lot of his production from. So I'm not too high on him tonight. I do think he's a really good tournament option here. But I mean, as I always say with the Blazers, I have interest in their top two guys, Cantor and Lillard. Today, not really on Cantor. He got priced up a little bit on FanDuel 6-6. On DraftKings, he's still in that mid 7K range, so not interested there. But I do think he's a good tournament option on FanDuel. I prefer him over someone like Plumlee in this matchup against the Kings if you're in that 6K range for a center. But yeah, Dame is my guy here. He's the main guy. 10.1K on FanDuel, 10.7 on DK, so it's a little expensive. But I mean, he's just been playing so well recently. Maybe not like last game, but he's been getting like upper 40s, like 48, 49, low 50s fantasy points. So I do like him a lot in this matchup against the Sacramento Kings. One of my favorite matchups to target whenever I can. He went for 70 earlier this season against the Kings. So I do like Dame a lot. He's going to be my favorite spend up here in this game. I currently have him on both sites.
Yep. Looking at the Zion tweet, I think I saw this comment from David. He says, it's the wee all the way home to... what is that from? Because I see that from it's like the top comment here on Twitter. What is that, Chris?
What does it say?
It says the little piggy that went wee all the way home. Is that the... What is that? Is that like that nursery rhyme kind of?
Let's see. The little piggy that went wee
all the way home.
Yeah, this little piggy.
Yeah. Although I don't remember it being like that. Like I know that one, but I don't remember it like that.
It did go like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a funny tweet. It's a terrible tweet. They should have just said rest. I guess you can't say rest, can you? Are there fines if you rest or something?
I don't know. You could look up this little piggy. We can watch a 1 minute video of a nursery rhyme if you would like. Yeah, I'm not sure about the rest thing. Steph Curry was ruled out for rest today as well, or not as well, but he was ruled out for rest today. So I'm not sure exactly how it works.
Yeah, I would do that, but our boy Justin is here. He'd definitely call me out if I did that. Back to the content is what he'd say. He already said it today. He said, can we get back to NBA, please? But yeah, let's go over last game here of the slate, Chris. Golden State Warriors, Phoenix Suns. Warriors side, we got Draymond Green out, Stephen Curry out, and Kelly Oubre Jr. questionable tag. Projected starters, we have... who's this? Mulder for them. Wiggins, Bazemore, Toscano Anderson, Kevon Looney. First of all, Chris, who is Mulder? Any interest in Mulder? I think he's minimum price on DraftKings. And yeah, what do you think of this Warriors team here?
Yeah, so he's a Canadian. I think he went to Kentucky. I'm not really a fan of his game, but he's kind of like a shooter. But yeah, I'm not interested in him. I have a lot of interest in the Warriors here tonight, though. This game has the biggest spread of the slate at 11.5. So the Warriors here are only implied to score 105 points. But I'm still fine with the value guys here. I think they'll still get blowout run if it does blow out. But yeah, my main interest here will come from Brad Wanamaker at point guard. He's 3.9K on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's 3K, so the minimum there. Yeah, no Steph. I expect him to start. We've seen him start in the past for Boston when he was on the Celtics last season. He can have some big games when he gets minutes. He's not an exercise guy, so I'm good with Brad Wanamaker there in cash games. Next up, I'll say Kent Bazemore. He's 4.2K on FanDuel, 3.5 on DraftKings. He's also pretty active. He's been getting some starts recently. Started yesterday, actually, for the injured Kelly Oubre. Played 30 minutes, got 26 fantasy points. So I do think he's really good value here today on this slate. I think he's going to be chalky on both sites, though. And then next up, I'll say Juan Toscano Anderson, specifically on DK, where he's 100 over the minimum. On FanDuel, he's 4.7K, so can't get there. He's also power forward, so I would just rather spend for Roby in that same range on FanDuel. But I think on DK, 3.1K for Juan Toscano Anderson here is pretty close to a lock. He'll definitely get a blowout run if it does blow out. He's going to start for Draymond, I'd assume. So yeah, I love Juan Toscano Anderson here in DK for value.
Yeah. Okay. So got some chat here. VN Jones says Rocco in all three lineups. Trigger says 2021 Kings worst defense in NBA history. Is that true, Chris?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I just want to mention two more guys on the Warriors here. Like, I didn't touch on Oubre and Wiggins. I'm not too high on them today. Like, I think there's value plays on the Warriors side that I'm more interested in. Oubre is obviously questionable, so that's something to watch out for. And then Eric Pascal, I think he's interesting in tournaments today. He's pretty cheap on both sides. We saw him have the big role last season when Curry was out, when Draymond missed a bunch of the season. So I think Eric Pascal is pretty interesting in tournaments, especially. Wouldn't be surprised if he has a big game, same as James Wiseman. They'll probably try to run the offense through Wiseman in this game. That probably doesn't matter too much for them. I think they've probably conceded it already since they're resting Curry and Draymond. So wouldn't be surprised if Wiseman or Pascal have a big game here as well.
Okay. PacFan says toughest spot in my builds is filling that small forward position. Chris, is that the case today? Small forward's ugly today, or what do you think of that one?
No, I mean, we have Kent Bazemore there. I'm not sure if he's a FanDuel or DraftKings side, but Kent Bazemore on both sides at small forward, I like that a lot. I have some interest in someone like Jay Crowder. We'll get to that. Cam Johnson is out, so if you're on DK, Jay Crowder is 4.6. Don't mind that. And on FanDuel, we have Batum, we have Melo, we have Middleton. I think it's like the mid-range. It's a mid-range spot today. But yeah, it is kind of ugly outside of Bazemore, I'd say.
Yeah. Nursery rhyme. I know that nursery rhyme. For some reason, I just don't recall the wee part. Maybe I have like a different version of it. Maybe there's different versions. Not sure. Austin says Frank Ntilikina game time decision now, Chris.
And Alfred Payton. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye out for. If they're both out, I think quickly will become probably a lock.
Yeah.
Assuming it starts.
Rondo says Chris loves Mulder. I didn't know that, Chris.
No, I don't like Mulder.
Okay.
He's just trolling you.
Oh, got me. Trigger says don't sleep on Wiseman.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sleeping on him a little bit. Not my favorite play there, but I think he could have a big game. Like he's definitely a really good tournament option tonight.
Yeah. Okay, Chris. Let's get into what do you want to call it today, Chris? You pick.
The Phoenix Suns.
What?
We need to get into the Phoenix Suns.
No, let's get into the three plays.
No, we didn't go over the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, really? Oh, my bad. We didn't go over the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, good call there. Let's get into the Phoenix Suns. So Phoenix, we just have Cameron Johnson out for them. Projected starters: Chris Paul, Booker, Bridges, Crowder, and Ayton. You mentioned Crowder just now. Who else do you like there, Chris?
Yeah, so this is a game that I don't love, so I'll keep it quick here. I think Crowder's a little bit interesting on DK with Cam Johnson out. I don't want to pay up for Booker, Paul, or Ayton on this slate. You just have much better plays elsewhere. This game has the biggest spread right now, so yeah, I'm not too interested here, but I don't mind Jay Crowder on DraftKings and cash games.
Okay, you can see why I skipped the Phoenix Suns. That was really quick. Now let's get into the other segment here, Chris. What do you want to call this segment today?
We could call it my three favorite plays, or
Okay,
three. I don't know. Let's just get into it.
Let's just get into it. First up, overall play of the day. Then we have value play, then tournament play of the day. So pay attention, guys. Take your notes here. Class is in session. You will be quizzed on this. Overall play of the day, Chris, on FanDuel. Favorite guy here. Safest play. Just your most solid guy today. Who was it?
Yeah, so I would have said Giannis before, but I'll say Brandon Ingram now with Zion out or doubtful. I assume that he's going to be out, so I'll say Brandon Ingram.
That's impressive because he did burn you the other day. I remember you saying you're off of him because he burned you. But yeah, that's awesome that you like him here as your overall play of the day. That's crazy. Value play of the day, Chris, on FanDuel. Who do you have?
I'll go with Isaiah Roby here, 4.6K at power forward. I think that's a really good play without Al Horford.
Okay, and then tournament play of the day. Who do you have?
Tournament play. Let's go with Nikola Jokic. He's just so expensive here on FanDuel. I don't think he's going to be very popular. There's a lot of plays at center down low, so I think going Jokic kind of gets your build different. So I do like that a lot.
Okay, let's go on DraftKings for the DraftKings guys in here. First up, overall play of the day, safest guy you can pick today. Can't go wrong with this guy. Has Chris's stamp of approval here. Who is that here?
I'll say Giannis here. He's a little cheaper than on FanDuel at 11K. So yeah, I'll say Giannis.
Okay, and then value play of the day, Chris, the one that's going to save you all the money so you can afford more high quality players here. Get more studs in. Who is that here?
I'll say Brad Wanamaker here for the minimum. No Steph Curry. We expect him to start, so I like that play a lot.
Okay, and then tournament play of the day on DraftKings. This is going to be a guy you'll see in the top lineups, not necessarily the low-owned guy, but just the guy you'll see in the top winning lineups and tournaments. Who do you have here on DraftKings today?
Let's go with the Joker again. He's going to be popping in some cash game builds, but I like sticking with the same guy on both sites.
Okay. Let's get into the core plays then. Some cash here, some construction thoughts. If you guys have any questions, great time to bring them up now. We can go over them if you have any 2v2s, things like that. But we'll just go over Chris's core plays here, talk about who he likes, and then see what kind of builds we get with that. Then it says Mulder, X-Files with Scully. Nice sci-fi. Do you remember X-Files, Chris?
Huh?
Do you remember the X-Files?
No?
Do you know, would you recognize like the X-Files theme song?
I don't even know what X-Files is.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. For once, I get to revoke your pop culture card. I get to keep mine, so I'm taking yours away, Chris, for a few days. You'll get it back after you watch the X-Files theme song. Hasty says, no way Baylor beats, what is that, Oklahoma by 12 points today.
Yeah, let me go on my phone here. Let me find the spread and let me bet it.
That's how easy it is with Hasty here.
I mean, I gotta trust him. He says no way. So what do we have? Baylor, OK State. Who does he say? No way Baylor beats OK State by 12. So we gotta take
How come you can
Oklahoma
say
State by
OK
12.
State, but if I read OK, I get called out for that?
I don't know, but I mean, I'm taking it. I'll put $50 on it. I trust Hasty here.
I also put myself on the spot. Like I could have got Oklahoma wrong. I don't know all my American State acronyms there, abbreviations. Let's see.
We got Dakota here as well. He said he posted it in the Discord. He said Michigan State and OK State upset parlay is spicy.
You gotta stop saying okay.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm gonna
Ridiculous.
Michigan State. Let me see. They're playing Michigan plus 12 here as well. Yeah, let me put $50 on that as well. So I mean, I gotta trust my guys here.
Yeah.
No parlay for me, but I gotta trust my guys. I'll take both of their picks here.
Austin says, "What? Get out! Go blue! Go blue, Chris."
Go blue.
Okay, guys. We do need to set up Hasty's college core plays. That's going to be awesome because if we had that today, I would definitely play those guys. I'm excited for that one. Actually, I don't even know if we have it enabled for all sports. If it's just NBA, do you know, Chris? Do you see it for other sports?
Yeah, it's probably enabled for all sports.
Okay, that's good to know. Dakota says I'm a Michigan fan too, but they always choke these.
So I just want to confirm. I got Michigan State plus 12 with Dakota, and then Hasty. I got Oklahoma State plus 12. Is that accurate? Is that what I need?
I'm not the one to confirm, but I see Austin saying you're gonna lose going against Michigan today.
Okay. And Hasty's saying Michigan will have a hard time winning by 12 today. Um, so I'm going to keep both of them. Yeah, let's roll with it.
Okay. First up, Chris, FanDuel core play number one. Sorting it by value here. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Wanamaker first.
No, not on FanDuel. We can go with Paul George here. I mean, it's even though Kawhi's playing, it's still a really good matchup against the Wizards. So I like Paul George a lot. Next up, we can go with some value here. Svi Mikhailuk. I was kind of saying it when we went over our review. I didn't love it, but I do think he's a good play here today at shooting guard, where we don't have the James Harden play here tonight at shooting guard. We don't have someone like Oladipo, so I like Svi. And then we can lock in Ingram, like him a lot. We can lock in Giannis and Roby at power forward. I think they're the best power forwards. And then Nerlens Noel at center. I won't lock it just because my boy Brandon said he doesn't love it, but I do think he's going to pop in all the builds.
Okay. Let's hit build, see what we get. We did add a copy function thingy here, so you can click on a player name and then it'll search him. You can also click on the copy icon here and then it'll search him as well and copy it. I'm not sure if we should search it as well when you hit copy, but it's useful if you're if you're playing the lineup preview and you want to copy these guys into FanDuel without typing their names in. So you just click that and then it's just copied to your clipboard. You can paste it in on FanDuel or DraftKings. So that's pretty easy, especially if you're playing like a sport you're not super familiar with. Some strange names like probably League of Legends, maybe soccer, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, we do have that, so you can copy and paste now, so that's pretty good to see. There's one other thing I wanted to mention in the players card here, which just shows you the overview of what happened in the build. You can adjust the projected fantasy points now. So if you click it here, you can switch that in here. So that's pretty cool. Before you could only switch the ownership rules, min and max here, I mean. So, but yeah, now you can do PFP, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, which ones do you want to go over, Chris?
Yeah, let's take a look at these first two.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have point guards different. Obviously, shooting guards are the same. We locked them in. Ingram, we locked him in. We have a small forward difference, and then locked in the power forwards. And Noel is just popping a ton today, so I think he's the play at center. So we have a 3v3 Lillard, Wanamaker, Hart versus Fox, Brogdon, Bazemore. Yeah. So I mean, I think I like the first side here. We have Pac fan saying second line is money, but I think I like Hart here. I'm gonna assume that he's gonna start in place of Zion, so I do like Hart. I think he gets a bump there. Obviously, Bazemore gets a bump with their guys missing. So, yeah, but we also got Dame here. I like Dame a lot as my spend up. It's sort of more stars and scrubsy the first side, which I usually like to do. Maybe if Buddy Hield gets ruled out, the second side would make more sense to me, but I don't think I'll be able to late swap. I think Brogdon locks early. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to go with the first side here. I just like Dame a lot in this matchup against the Kings. I feel like he's very safe. I like Wanamaker a lot as well. I think he's a really good value play that I don't want to pass up on. And yeah, Hart as well. Like I said, he gets the big bump.
Okay. Let's go over DraftKings then. Let me sort it by values. Fee's got to be a lock, Chris. Wanamaker as well.
Yeah, these guys on DraftKings are definitely both locks. Yeah, you have more flexibility here, so you can kind of jam them all in. We can also go with Giannis. He's my favorite spend up here as well. Um, and then we can go with Josh Hart. I think he's a good play here as well, assuming that he's going to start. He's 4.9K here on DraftKings.
Okay, heart. Okay, what's it build? What do you think of this, Chris? Talking about this on the fly here on the show. When you click copy, should it search it as well or no?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I thought the copy feature was just going to be if you click the player's name.
Um, do you think that'd be good, or should it just be like an actual icon? I thought maybe this
I
wouldn't copy and only this would copy.
I don't think the icon should be there. It's like personally, I would never use it. I think most people would never use it. You would only use it if you've never heard of the player's name. So that's why I don't think it should be an icon. I think it kind of takes a bit of space up there.
But yeah, but my thought, if you just click this, maybe you don't want to copy it. Um, just want to search a
Yeah,
new tool.
yeah. I don't know. Like I don't know how necessary it is really. If you want to copy, you could always just do it how you normally do it. Just highlight the player's name. I don't know if there needs to be a dedicated button. That's my only thought.
Okay. We'll switch that. But yeah, which ones do you like here, Chris?
Yeah. So let's see here. Yeah, we can look at the first two.
Okay.
So I definitely think DK is tougher today. But let's see what we have here. I think we have a 2v2. I'll go over the same players. We have Paul George, 8-6. I don't mind that play here against the Washington Wizards. They don't play any defense. They play very fast. Josh Hart, I locked him in, 4-9. Giannis locked him in. Svi locked him in. Wanamaker locked him in. Juan Toscano Anderson didn't lock him in, but talked about him a lot when I went over the Warriors. I really like him today. And then we have this 2v2, Dame and Noel versus Bledsoe and Jokic. Yeah, I like the first side here. I was saying I like Dame a lot, but I mean, I guess it is pretty close with no Zion. Bledsoe gets a bump here. Didn't talk about him too much. Can you go back?
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so Dame, Noel versus Bledsoe and Jokic. Yeah, I don't know. This one's pretty close. Like, depends how high you are on Dame and Jokic. I mean, they're a similar price tag. Maybe I like Jokic more than Dame here. Obviously, projections like him a little more, but yeah, I'm not sure on this one. I might go with the second one. Might go with the first one. If I had to pick now, I would trust the projections just because it's so close. Um, but yeah, definitely no solid lean here right now.
Um, yeah, I know your boy Brandon doesn't like Noel, so there's that. Not sure how much he likes Bledsoe, but he doesn't like Noel, so I know there's that. But for me personally, I typically prefer to play bigs over guards just because I think the rebounds are a bit safer to get. Kind of safer floor for the bigs, in my opinion. I'm not sure if that's a thing. So I would prefer Jokic over Dame, but I'm not sure about the Noel versus Bledsoe myself.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but yeah. Anything to go over, Chris? Do we have to do some giveaways here? No, don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't think so.
Okay, sweet. Um, anything to go over, Chris, before we wrap it up today?
I mean, I'm excited for the slate. Gonna have a little bit of a break here, so I mean, we'll obviously see everyone after that on Wednesday. I think next Wednesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for the slate. I'll be in the Discord as always all throughout the weekend, discussing all the other slates. Yeah, hope everyone has a good break here and a solid slate tonight.
A few questions, Chris, for you. One from Pac Fan. He says, any chance the Healed news comes out before lock? Or sorry, before the Pacers game at 8?
Probably not. It's the late night game. They downgraded him to questionable.
Before 8?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't think we would get that before 8.
Okay. And then other question I have for you, Chris. What sports are we going to have to keep people busy while NBA's on the break for the All-Star weekend?
Oh, it's the same as usual. Just no NBA, so there's still a ton of stuff. There's going to be NHL. Everyone's going to be playing NHL. It's going to be the main sport. College basketball, and obviously on the weekend we have UFC, which is pretty big, MMA, and we have NASCAR
Golf.
and soccer as well. So, a ton of stuff still. Yeah, so definitely going to be playing a lot, even though there's no NBA.
Do we have golf? Is that tonight, tomorrow morning, or is that today?
That was today.
Got it. This is probably going to be League of Legends as well. Counter-Strike maybe, I'm not sure. So we have that. So lots of things to keep busy. The membership you have, if you're already a member, it includes every single sport here, FanDuel, DraftKings, and then multiple slates for each sport. So just for NBA today, we have, 7 here on FanDuel. On DraftKings, we have, also 7. So lots of stuff here. Hopefully the NHL contests are a bit bigger during the break. The tournaments, I'll play some of those. I like some NHL tournaments. Those are fun to play. If you are new to any of the other sports you're a member, get in the Discord, ask some questions. We can help you out. Members can help you out, kind of show you the ropes of how to play the other sports if you're not familiar with them. You don't have to know the sports as well as you know, like basketball, for example, if that's your main sport to do well. You just have to kind of know what settings or the strategies are. So definitely get in the Discord, ask some questions. And then before we go, if you guys liked the optimizer, liked the projections, like what you saw today, head on over to dfscrunch.com, create your account, and get yourself a free 3-day trial here. If you're a new member, you get 3 days for free, automatically applied with no coupon code required. So just check out, create your account, choose any of the subscriptions that we have here, monthly, yearly, weekly. And then automatically you're not charged until 3 days. So you have 3 days all for free. More than welcome to try it out for free. Cancel before the 3rd day, 72 hours from when you sign up. Try it out for free. So I always say it, get in for free. If you have no plans on staying, that's fine. Just try it out. You'll like it. Maybe you'll win something. So definitely do it for free. If you haven't, try it out. So there's that. And then give us a follow on Twitter as well. DFS Crunch over there. You can DM us there if you have any questions after hours. What else do we have? Anything else that I missed, Chris? No? Got a question. Any revenge narratives today, Chris?
Any revenge narratives?
I have one narrative. It's just, I don't know if it's revenge, but it's the, the Washington Wizards Clippers game. We have Westbrook, Beverly. They don't like each other, so there's that narrative today. What other narratives do we have, Chris, today?
We have Kelly Oubre playing Phoenix. He played Phoenix. He played for Phoenix last year. Dennis Smith Jr. against the Knicks. Reggie Bullock against the Pistons. We have Obi Toppin birthday. We have Aaron Baines against Boston. I think that does it for today. My favorite one is probably going to be Dennis Smith versus the Knicks, or the Kelly Oubre one against the Suns.
Not even the Westbrook one. I like the Westbrook one here. Westbrook's a dog. I feel like he hates Beverly, so I like that one. I like the Dennis Smith Jr. one again, but isn't he? He's just kind of awful, isn't he? Or is he looking a bit better?
No, he's been playing pretty well. He's been getting fantasy points in the 30s. I really like him on DK today in tournaments.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check that out then. But yeah, guys, before you go today, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Helps us out, helps people find our channel. So we appreciate that a lot. And then if you like the content today format, we do this show every single day. Obviously, we can't do it tomorrow because there's no games anymore. So we'll be back on the 10th, I believe, when NBA resumes. But every single day we do the show here, weekends included. 2.5 hours before the main slate locks. We go over both sites, FanDuel, DraftKings, same format as here. So if you liked it, subscribe, hit the bell button, come back again. Always going to be free, so a good place to hang out for that. And just another reminder, dfscrunch.com. Check it out, try it for free. And yeah, we'll be in the Discord updating any core plays that they come out. Any news that comes out, we'll update there as well. Talk about more DFS construction thoughts, 2v2s, 1v1s, things like that will be in there. So yeah, appreciate everyone coming out here today. Appreciate the chat. See you all on the 10th. I'll be in the Discord, and good luck today, guys. See you next time.